Hello and welcome to I Watched It with My Wife.
Documentary edition.
That is correct. That is Sarah and I am Jeremy. Uh, in this podcast, we watch movies or TV shows and review them. And we have started doing one for documentaries and docuseries. And this one, we are tackling the brand new Netflix docuseries, Murder Among the Mormons. Now, we're just going to tackle episode 1 today. But it's basically about the attacks on some members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Salt Lake City that took place in October of 1985. Full disclosure, Sarah and I were both a combined 5 months old in October of 1985, between her being born in July and me being born in August of that year. But anyway, so Sarah, this was a crazy episode. And this is something that I don't think a lot of people know about in the terms of attacks in our country's history. People think of Waco or Oklahoma City. I knew about this, but I don't know how many other people know about the attacks in Salt Lake City from 1985.
Before watching this first episode, I did not know about it. There's a lot to unpack with this. And you spoiled the ending because you told me the ending, which I didn't think at first. But we're in episode 1, so we still have more episodes. But yeah, so it was interesting. So first off, this documentary starts off days before. What is it, like days or weeks?
It starts 5 years before, actually.
All right, so it starts off years before the bombings,
and it does tackle a little the history of the Mormon Church, with the founding by Joseph Smith, and then it gets into the collection of documents related to the church's history, and that's where things get wild.
Yes. So all of a sudden these documents appear pretty much out of nowhere, that basically underwrite the whole history of the church or undermine the entire history of the church.
Yeah, there's some that contradict slightly the history of the church, and there's some that just flat out say the history of the church is wrong. Now, there's some very important figures to know about in this entire thing. There's Gordon Hinckley, who was the president of the Mormon Church at the time. There is Mark Hoffman, who is a document dealer. There is Steve Christensen, who is a financial advisor and a document dealer. From what I understand, there's also Frank Sheets, who was a former associate of Steve Christensen.
I thought it was Gary Sheets.
Oh yeah, it might have been Gary Sheets. I get a lot of, there were a lot of names in this one, so it might be Gary Sheets.
Yeah.
Mr. Sheets is Steve Christensen's former business associate in financial services. And there was also Alan Rust, who helped finance some of these things. There are plenty of other names to get involved in here, but those are some of the big names that we dealt with in this episode.
So right off the bat, I knew that Mr. Christensen was deceased because all the videos of him were all older.
Yes.
Talking about various documents that he discovered and was dealing and all that stuff. So right away, you kind of knew, okay, this guy's going to be the first one to go. And
or at least he's one of the ones to go. Yeah.
Well, he was the first one to go.
He was the first one to
in
go,
the
yes.
in the order of the way things went out. Not like that I'm rooting for that or anything, but that's just like you kind of knew. So yeah, there is a lot to unpack with this, and it's gonna be kind of hard to get into the Mormon stuff without pissing people off. Well, no, we're not going to debate Mormonism.
We're not going to debate the church's teachings
or any church.
We're not going to debate that.
No,
we're just handling the historical aspect of it. They found something called the White Salamander document, which claims that instead of Joseph Smith finding gold plates told to him by an angel, it was led by a white salamander, and it was use of magic, not religion. There are also claims that Joseph Smith basically stole valor from his brother in the religious sense, and that the angel actually showed his brother where the golden plates were. And that's what led up to a lot of unrest within the Mormon Church in the 1980s, and eventually led to multiple bombings all of them in the Salt Lake City area on the days of October 15th and October 16th of 1985.
Yes. And I can see where any document like that basically says, nope, everything you were told is wrong, especially when you're religious, could really like unravel, not even just not even cause unrest, but unravel everything. You know what I mean? Like religion can be, especially for the Mormons, they're a bit extreme about it.
They're very devout in their I don't know.
So to tell somebody their whole way of life revolves around their religion,
Yes.
almost everything they do revolves around their religion. Um, and not everybody who is religious lives that way, where every decision they make depends on religion. Um, so for someone like that to have come across or to hear about a document or a whisper that says everything you were taught is wrong, I can definitely see that being earth shattering for them. And that is why I initially thought, based on what we've seen so far, that it was some higher ups in the church that were doing the bombing. And again, now listen, hear me out. I'm not throwing shade, but this wouldn't be the first time a church has tried to cover something up using
Scare
lethal
tactics.
force. Not just scare, and I'm not just talking about Christianity. This has happened
This has
across
happened.
the board with almost every religion down the line. If somebody came out and knew something that they're not supposed to know, or knows too much of something, and I don't care what branch of what religion you're talking about,
Radicals will react
yup,
in extremist ways.
things will happen. So I'm just saying, I really, really thought that this was some higher ups in the church that were involved in this, and not
And
the way I found out it went down.
yeah, and that's understandable because one guy, I forget who it was, that was involved in document dealing amongst the Mormon church when he found something that was even a little bit contradictory. Not as contradictory as some of the things here, just a little bit contradictory. Says that the church stifled his research and led to him being fired. So clearly, people higher up in the church, I'm not saying Gordon Hinckley specifically, and I don't know anybody there, but specifically somebody higher up in the church was opposed to opposite was vehemently against any opposing views being allowed to get out to the public.
Yes. And that's not uncommon with that type of religion either.
It
And
is
that's
not.
not uncommon with a lot of religions.
That's not uncommon with with radicals at all.
Yeah, and again, I'm not calling Mormons radicals. I'm just saying
But there are radicals within
there's
every
yeah,
religion, every
and
denomination.
there's well, there is, because there's the I guess they're not really Mormon, but they are those cults in Utah, like the polygamous cults. That would be extreme radicalist religion. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yeah, it is.
The
I'm not
the
disputing
Mormon
that.
cults, they're not, I don't think they necessarily identify as Mormon though. There's something else. But
Well, most of them somewhere fall under Latter-day Saints, which
but
is what the Mormon church is,
yeah,
but
but
there are some that get actually offended at the term Mormon. So
because they don't identify with like mainstream beliefs. They're very, yeah, no, they're very cult like and polygamy and all that stuff that they're into, and it's kind of, I don't know, creepy and scary. And like those religions, like if you're a girl, you're not even supposed to look at a boy unless you're being told to marry your uncle or something like that. And
sounds like a Duggar.
it's disgusting and scary. No, the Duggars don't marry their uncles. They're marrying other people with extreme religion.
Yeah, it was still just a joke. But anyway.
Yeah, okay.
But this episode, it's about 45 minutes long.
Yes.
And it goes up. It starts 5 years. It gives a little bit of history, but it starts 5 years before the bombings. It covers the important documents that have been found. And this episode basically wraps up with the day of the day of the first bombings that killed Steve Christensen and Kathy Sheets. And then the next day's bombing that destroyed the car of Mark Hoffman with him inside it, and what they believed to be the McClellan documents that were going to rattle, shake the foundation of the church down to its core. Hoffman had been warned that he was going to be a target. Christensen was killed right away. Sheets was killed right away. Hoffman was taken from the car alive.
Wasn't killed right away.
Kathy
His wife
Sheets.
was. Yeah.
That's what I said.
She
Kathy Sheets was
was.
killed instantly. Hoffman was not killed. He was taken out of there. And people that had been involved in document dealing with Hoffman, with Christensen, suddenly decided they went into hiding because this was the third attack in 2 days, and now they're starting to fear for their lives.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you can't blame them for being around that type of situation, not knowing where it's coming from. And again, they seem to be on the same assumption as far as it not being financial, but as far as it being somebody involved higher up in the church. Or at least the documentary gives that.
The documentary gives
perception.
At least the people interviewed felt that's who it was, and they made their beliefs known in the documentary. I'm sure others who went into hiding thought it had something to do with finances. I'm sure others that went into hiding thought for some other reasons beyond religion or money, maybe political. But, there are plenty of reasons why they would have thought that they were in danger being associated with these people. But the ones we specifically heard interviewed felt it was religious in nature.
Yeah. I definitely got that vibe too. And it was, I don't know, it's a good documentary so far. I'm enjoying it. It's interesting.
Yes. This is a 3-episode series from what I can see. 3 episodes dropped. It's on Netflix. So they usually drop the entire series at once, unlike Disney Plus, which does a weekly drop. So I think it should only be the 3 episodes. This is a really entertaining documentary. It's been informative, although the one caveat I will always put on docuseries like this is that they are trying to tell a certain narrative, and there are other narratives that could be explained. So if you want to know facts about the situation, you want to actually do your own research. These will only give the facts that support their conclusion.
Which we have to find out. We have to watch the rest of them to find out where they're going with all this.
Yes, we do. Like I said, I knew the end result of what we're going to find out, as in who is responsible and what happens to that person. But I don't know a lot of the stuff in between. So I'll need to do my research on that as well to determine what I actually think when we get to the end. But, I am interested to see how this docuseries builds it up.
Yes, definitely agree with that. We're looking forward, so stay tuned for parts 2 and 3.
Yes.
Anything else?
Do we want to rank this, or do we want to wait till we finish the whole thing to rank
I think we should wait till we finish the series before we rank it.
Sounds like a plan.
Especially with like docuseries. If it was just like a 1-episode documentary, I would say we could rank it now. But since it's a series, we should wait till we finish the series.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of I Watched It With My Wife.
Documentary
edition. We are going to save our rankings until we finish all 3 episodes of the docuseries. So please keep joining us, and you'll hear more. Thanks.
Bye.